Duhamic Projet, Duharanira Amajyambere y'Icyaro, or Action for Integrated Rural Development, is a non-profit-making, non-government organization established in 1979 with the following mission.
Duhamic
Projet is a non-governmental organization aiming at developing rural communities and supporting their activities. We fund different cooperatives activities such as agriculture by facilitating access to agricultural inputs. We also deal with education and environmental protection. In addition, all these activities are accompanied with training sessions aiming at building capacities of cooperatives. We also supply clean drinking water to rural areas and conduct a campaign for food security and adequate nutrition. Gender equality is also one of our concerns.
By virtue of Duhamic Project's mission of supporting the people's initiative in their struggle against poverty and ignorance, we are going to see in detail the achievements of this organization in the period 2009-2011. Duhamic Project's projects are neatly tailored according to national poverty reduction programs. The organization's activities have been financially supported by Oxfam Novib, Fredesome, Global Fund, Trocare Rwanda, Protos, ILEX, European Union, CCOAIB, and PAGO. One of Duhamic Project's projects financed by Oxfam Novib and Trocare is the soy and maize value chain in Kamonyi district. This starts from provision of the agricultural inputs to the commercialization of the produce.
For a kilogram of fertilizer that costs 600 Rwandan francs, a farmer buys it at 300 Rwandan francs, while the government pays the rest.
As Mr. Uwihore Bernal explains, a preferential price is accorded to their harvest thanks to the value added to it.
We fumigate our harvest and then pack it in bags of 50 kilograms, labeled according to the requirements of the National Bureau of Standards. These are ready for exportation. On the local market, 1 kilogram of maize costs 120 Rwandan francs, but Rwanda Agricultural Board buys our maize at 400 Rwandan francs a kilogram. And the farmer may produce 2 to 3 tons. Of all crops, only maize can give you 1,200,000 Rwandan francs in 6 months. That is over 2 million Rwandan francs a year.
According to the head of Imuyabo Cooperative Union, the maize threshing machine currently used has been very useful.
Since we got an industrial grinder, our work has become easier. In the past, we used to work with our hands. We also used small grinders, which were not efficient. Nowadays, we produce more easily and more rapidly. We currently have 250 tons of maize, of which 200 are selected grain. All that thanks to the industrial grinder. Impuyabo is one of the cooperatives in the maize and soya value chain. Duhamic Projet is doing its best for their development.
tugerageza kubafasha kugira ngo bashe kwiteza imbere tubagezaho amahugurwa kumenya uburyo.
These cooperatives are trained in modern farming methods for a better use of land.
Basha kubyaza umusaruro cyane cyane ko bahinga mu bishanga birumvikana ko ubutaka.
They normally debate around what crop should be grown in the value chain in their cooperative framework.
Ni ishami cyangwa se filiere cyangwa se chaîne de valeur binyuze mu makoperative yabo.
They also know well where to find the fertilizers and how to manage the harvest.
Value chain agriculture is also practiced with rice, supported by Oxfam Novib.
Duhamic Projet supported us by opening a shop that sells agricultural inputs worth 2,240,000 Rwandan francs and kept the follow-up. They also provided us with over 1 ton of chemical fertilizer. Our shop has flourished so much that we are now independent. We are currently producing 7 tons per hectare. We supply our harvest to different consumers, such as boarding schools. We also make study tours, which are normally preceded by training. We went to Mukunguri, Mwendo, Kabagari, and Bugarama. We also visited Koteram in Mutara. These study tours allow us to see practically what we have seen in theory. It is indeed this experience which made us increase our production that now ranges between 5 and 7 tons per hectare.
Value chain agriculture is also practiced with rice, supported by Oxfam Novib. Regardless of the crop involved, cooperative members are happy with the value chain system of production.
We currently practice commercial agriculture. We invest a specific capital for a specific profit. In the past, we worked haphazardly without counting. We are now better off because we get money that helps us solve our daily problems. For example, I've been able to buy a cow. I didn't have that before I joined the cooperative. I also built a beautiful house. I couldn't have managed this outside the value chain. I can now start any project with the support of my cooperative.
We used to practice traditional farming, and this kept us poor. Since the introduction of the maize and soya value chain, this has been useful to us because after selling our harvest, we get our payments through our savings bank accounts. This particularly enables women to get loans. Having to care for 7 children, I lived in poverty. But since I joined the cooperative, I've been able to pay school fees for my children, and I managed to build a decent house. I have got all that thanks to the farming in a value chain.
I've been able to buy a cow. Now I have a bank account in Banque Populaire. I also built a good house and I'm able to pay the community-based medical insurance with no problem.
In this part of the country, there is also what is called GIR, Integrated Management of Water, financed by Protos.
The rice value chain is carried out in swamps where there is enough water. The management of this water is done by Duhamic Projet, highly experienced in this.
Oxfam, Navib and Troche have also financed the Duhamic Projet's project of genetic improvement of milk cattle. These improved breeds are obtained through the artificial insemination of the Ankole local breed.
The advantage of insemination is mainly the improvement of the local cattle breed, which may be 50%, 75%, 85%, or even 90%. They are crossbreeds with improved blood. I have already reached 80% and 90%. A traditional cow would give only 1 liter of milk on 1.5. Today, we get 5 to 6 liters per cow. But the cow may even give up to 12 liters if it is well fed. Another advantage is that the calves born from insemination are often female. But we also get manure to be used in our maize and soya value chain because these cows are zero grazed.
To further improve on the milk production of these cows, leguminous fodder has been introduced in their diet to enhance this with proteins.
This tree is an agroforestry species planted along erosion-controlled trenches. It's one of the components of the cattle feeds to enrich their diet. This is an adequate substitute for industrial concentrates used to improve the cow's health.
Bovine genetic improvement in Rulindo district is done by direct use of exotic bulls. The training and study tours given to the farmers in this field are of great importance.
After the training, I decided to abandon traditional cows and took exotic ones. Now we produce enough milk and manure.
Oxfam Navib has also financed the Duhamic Projet's project of water supply in rural areas.
We used to drink pond water, which caused diarrheic infections, especially in children. Now we have clean water. Water is life, and that is why Duhamic Projet includes water supply in its rural development program.
To make this essential commodity long-lasting, the beneficiaries have adopted some strategies for its safety.
For proper maintenance of this water system, all beneficiaries contribute some money to take care of the water place. This allows the maintenance of the system, a useful infrastructure. The beneficiaries choose 5 persons to form a management committee to ensure the cleanliness and eventual repairs on the water point.
Nyabihu district also got Oxfam Navib's support in the area of wheat farming.
We use various agricultural inputs, some of which are manure and artificial fertilizers such as DAP, urea and NPK. We were first supported by Duhamic Projet, who showed us how to use fertilizers. They also made us these radical terraces. Before that, it was a wasteland where nothing could grow. In this program, we got small livestock to help us fertilize our soil. And slowly by slowly, we started producing enough manure for all the farmers. In the past, we could produce only 5 bags, but with the use of fertilizers, our production has jumped from 500 kilograms to 3,000 kilograms per hectare. Duhamic Projet continues to organize study tours for us. We had one in Rulindo for radical terraces and wheat growing. That is why our harvest has increased reasonably. We were also provided with a threshing machine.
The same development partner has financed fruit growing.
I chose the cultivation of strawberry because it gives a lot of profit. Duhamic Projet offered me strawberry plantlets to be planted on 5 acres. Now I have a whole hectare. We are a cooperative of 18 members. Duhamic Projet pays our transport and everything needed for our trip to Israel to collect tree cuttings. We then multiply these and distribute them to the farmers.
This fruit growing has reasonably transformed the lives of the beneficiaries.
Now I can afford to pay school fees for my children who are in high school with no problem.
But Mukamazimaka has not kept this farming to herself. She gave some fruit seedlings to her neighbors.
We distributed fruit tree plantlets to 580 students. Each one got 2 plantlets, thanks to Duhamic Projet. Nearly all the inhabitants of Chinzuzi sector got them too.
Of those Duhamic Projet's projects financed by EFDC, we shall see the reforestation effort aimed at countering desertification and providing enough wood to the farmers. This tree planting project is in the districts of Rulindo and Nyaruguru. The launching of this activity is characterized by preparation of tree nursery beds that will provide different tree species.
In the nursery beds, there are 2 kinds of trees, forest and agroforestry trees. We have selected 3 species which grow well in this area, focusing mainly on their productivity in terms of wood and charcoal. Agroforestry trees are determined according to the population's needs. They need sticks to support their climbing beams, but also planks for different purposes. These species should therefore be fast-growing and compatible with the crops.
To have enough tree nursery beds that will produce all the plantlets needed to cover all these hills, a number of workers are required. These ones get profit too.
I now afford to pay school fees for my children. I also do my savings at the Community Savings Fund. In addition, I'm a member of a tontine where I pay 500 rand francs. All home needs are covered, we have health insurance, and I have small livestock that gives me manure. First of all, I've been able to pay health insurance for my children. I paid 11,000 francs for my own child and an orphan who lives with me. Additionally, I bought a mattress and a cow. All this thanks to the work at the tree nursery bed. Because of the work at the nursery bed, I managed to buy a cow, a pig, and a mattress.
Each worker at the nursery beds earns 800 francs daily, and their salary is paid between the 20th and the 25th of each month. We have many workers at the nursery bed. During preparation, they range from 50 to 150.
This tree planting activity by Duhamic Projet has greatly improved the landscape of these hills.
This land had almost turned into a wasteland. Duhamic Projet first trained us and then reforested our lands. These trees are very important for me because one day I will get a lot of money from them. I may as well present this at the bank as collateral and get a loan for funding other projects. Yes, this tree planting is funded by Duhamic Projet. The trees are growing well, for they emanate from selected seeds. These trees will play an important role in protecting our environment and in the fight against erosion. These forests will also increase rainfall in the region.
Through the preparation of tree nursery beds, which play a very big role in this tree planting, Duhamic Projet creates the workers' awareness for savings and banking.
Now we put our savings in the Community Savings Fund of Ngoma sector. I also receive my salary through the same account, which constantly has provisions for my future projects.
Every worker in Duhamic Projet nursery bed has a bank account in this fund, and it is through this that they are paid every month. Each individual arranges to withdraw their money and how to use it. At the end of the project, the worker will still have the account and may ask for a loan to fund other projects for their own development and that of their families.
Duhamic Projet's projects financed by USAID CHF International that we shall tackle are those found in Rulindo and Ruhango districts in USAID Higa Ubeho program. In Rulindo, Duhamic Projet has a project which helps the communities in their food security endeavor and in their fight against malnutrition. They are therefore trained in modern vegetable farming in a program known as Umurima Shuri or Demonstration Farm. Here, modern farming techniques are learnt regarding how a small garden can produce massively, considering the scarcity of land in Rwanda.
Duhamic Projet has helped us a lot. We were taught how to fertilize our soil with manure and strategies on mass production on a small land. We were shown different types of domestic vegetable gardens adoptable in different situations. We planted a sample mini garden of 60 centimeters. We then planted an elevated garden named Tai in which we use dried grass and fresh grass mixed with manure and soil. This kind of a garden, which has 3 levels, can receive 9 types of vegetables. These layers, dry grass, fresh grass, then manure and soil, make a fantastic combination. This one gave us a great harvest of beetroot, carrots and cauliflower. This technique is very useful because it enables us to get vegetables even during the dry season when the vegetables are scarce everywhere. We also conducted a campaign for good nutrition. Now, people know the importance of beet juice as a food and beverage. The problem of malnutrition is no more in our homes.
Aka karima ni gatoya ugereranyije n'amasambu dufite dutuye ku midugudu benshi kukavumerera.
This field is small enough for people who live in organized villages. It is therefore easy to water and it provides us with the vegetables throughout the year.
N'abana bacu n'indwara z'imirire mibi zikaba nkeya.
That way, food security is ensured for our families and the neighbors.
This modern vegetable farming has been introduced among students from poor families in order to instill in them the working spirit. These skills will hence be spread across their respective villages.
We practice modern farming. Duhamic Projet gave us seeds to sow in our fields. We now have a balanced diet. This is a good idea because we can see youths working zealously. We work in the fields every Saturday for 2 hours to increase the production of our small plots. The children I visited are doing the same thing at home. They transfer these agricultural techniques to their respective villages. In our conversation, they revealed to me that in the past, they couldn't easily get the carrots to crunch because their families bought them in rather small quantities. But now, they produce enough and can eat as much as they can. As for the beet, it was introduced recently but has become very popular because of its juice.
Icyambere baba toje guhinga bya kijyambere ariko bagahinga bakoresheje.
They were taught modern farming whereby only natural manure is used to increase the production of small plots.
Baratwegera nk'umurenge rero batubwira ko bafite ibintu byabateza imbere bashobora kuba.
So they presented their project to our sector.
Tubatiza ahantu ho gukorera mu rwego mwabonye.
And we lent them a land near Muvumbasel and another one in the neighborhood of this sector. The vegetable harvest was so impressive that those gardens have become a demonstration field.
Duhamic Projet does not just train these students. It helps them by paying their school fees and school equipment. This is done in Rurindo and Ruhango districts.
Duhamic Projet supported us a lot. We consider them as our parents. They gave us school materials and clothes. Duhamic Projet paid my school fees and school materials, and this makes me study comfortably.
kubona abana benshi bamaze kuva mu mashuri kubera kubura ibikoresho.
Due to lack of school materials, most secondary students had abandoned school. Their parents had lost hope. But today, they don't worry anymore about their children's studies. Everything is okay. School fees, school materials, and health insurance.
To create favorable school conditions for these students, Duhamic Projet has supported their lunch project to keep them strong enough for good performance in class.
Before the introduction of lunch at school, children got very hungry and could not follow afternoon lessons. Before the midday meal was introduced, we spent the whole day without eating because we are orphans and our foster families are poor. We could not easily follow afternoon teaching. We were also constantly worried about school materials. In the first term, I was the 17th in my class, but in the second term, when we had started getting lunch at school, I was the 5th. Students benefiting from this program are brilliant, as shown by their reports. This program has also reduced the delinquency of students who used to run out in search of food. The lunch project was put in place mainly to discourage that desertion and to improve studying conditions. We were 10 when we started feeding these students with our limited resources using cassava bread, maize bread, and cassava. Duhamic Projet trained us in conceiving projects for school development such as this one. Food for students is mainly intended for supporting education. It is an advantage for both students and teachers in matters of rest. Eating together also improves the human touch among them.
The teachers in these schools have been trained in modern teaching techniques that entice students into loving school. In other words, creating a child-friendly school.
Duhamic Projet supported us by training our primary school teachers in what we call child-friendly school. We are quite advanced in that. Our school is really child-friendly. Studying conditions are quite favorable for children of all ages, boys and girls. It is a concept whereby the teacher lets students first discover before they are given the lesson for proper orientation.
We as Duhamic Projet in the education section of USAID Higa Ubeho program, we taught parents to think of what could be done to develop their school. In other words, their contribution towards developing the institute. We encourage them to sit and think what may be right, what is wrong, and why. This is a kind of study tour, and it creates a competition spirit.
We are thankful to Duhamic Projet for their support in education. They are very much preoccupied with the education of our children, and we are really happy about it. Their office has been established in our sector. We now live together. They also supported us by teaching English to our teachers, now that English has become the communication language in Rwandan schools. This is a noble act that will be helpful to our children.
Higa Ubeho program has also been organizing holiday camps whose aim is to bring youths together and instill in them the values of good citizenship.
The holiday camping is one of the activities organized for secondary school students during their long holidays. They usually come up with themes about youth to be discussed. The holiday camp, which generally lasts 3 days, is an occasion for everyone to make an annual performance contract in school matters, exemplary behavior, cleanliness, etc. Each student has a notebook in which all this is written. This is aimed at becoming an exemplary citizen.
Fred Desom finances carpentry projects assisted by Duhamic Projet in Nyaruguru and Rulindo districts.
Duhamic Projet yadusanze muri icyaro cyacu cya Nyakizu igerageza kudufasha kugira ngo.
We are in an area called Nyakizu. Duhamic Projet helped us improve business by building our capacity in materials and in management.
Kugira ngo umwuga wacu urusheho gutera imbere. Ndero kongerwa ubushobozi.
We also went on study tours. Before they came in, our inputs was very low as we were working with our hands. But ever since we got the machines, even the orders have increased and our revenues have arisen. A carpenter used to make a door in 10 days, but with the arrival of the machines, he can make it in only 3 days. That is 3 doors in the 10 days.
The assistance which these carpentry workshops get from Duhamic Projet enables them to improve on the quality of their services as well as the welfare of the members.
We have improved the quality of the services we provide to our customers. Our revenues serve to replace worn-out machines and to pay the workers. We also sell planks and continuously buy more to make sure we don't empty our stock. The funds generated from machines also help us to clean the workshop and to rescue the workers in emergency cases. We give them loans to be refunded gradually.
In the past, you couldn't find real woodwork in this area. Wood was just sold out. But with this tree planting, these modern carpentry workshops will absorb most of the wood and transform it here. Our wood has a national recognition. There is a selling point in Kigali that puts a particular emphasis on wood products from this area. Now they are independent. Their workshops are equipped with appropriate machinery and enough blank stocks. They were trained in bookkeeping and how to manage their workshops. We are making them more and more independent so that they may handle their projects without Duhamic Adri.
Similar assistance has been given to blacksmiths working in the same area.
Here, we forge articles for various destinations, such as farming, carpentry, and traditional dance. We also make decorative articles. These materials are made from old metallic parts from garages or just old cars. It could also be any other metallic object that we buy and transform into these new articles. Duhamic Adri helped by training us in management and in general proper workmanship. They also gave us essential equipment such as the anvils. In addition, they assisted in finding us market for our products. Agricultural implements are bought locally as they are on high demand here. The same thing with the blacksmith tools. Our products are supplied to different parts of the country, especially Kigali city. Our articles such as shears are of such good quality that we supply them to hardware stores in Kigali. As for traditional dance equipments, they are either sold locally or in the capital, Kigali. Decorative articles are sold in Kigali, where they are often bought by tourists.
Duhamic Adri has trained residents of this district in law matters to enable them to understand their rights and their obligations as citizens. This training focused mainly on equality between the sexes and gender promotion, the law on land and inheritance, as well as public address and communication with authorities.
After learning that a human being is vulnerable and that they must do their best not to harm their friends, I do all I can to respect others. I also expect to be respected and never harmed. I learned a lot about succession and inheritance rights. In the past, girls were marginalized and could not get their share of the family cake. But now they have a say and enjoy all the privileges as much as boys.
As a woman, I'm proud to have learnt about the law on succession and inheritance. I knew nothing about it before. Women had long suffered from segregation. Many women have assimilated these laws and have already successfully claimed their shares. We used to fear to denounce all violence committed on us, but this training has greatly helped us recognize and defend our rights.
Our populations always need to be trained so that they may know their rights. Duhamic Projet helped us a lot in this sector. When this training started, there were misunderstandings in some families. The training sessions were carried out in 4 administrative sectors. At that time, 2 people had committed suicide. But ever since then, nothing of the kind has happened again. There was also a lot of domestic violence against women. But with this sensitization campaign about people's rights, this has decreased drastically. All we are doing now is just reminding. As for advocacy, people used to be shy when it came to asking questions. But with this campaign, people want to ask many questions. In Nhakwa sector, the farmers have even had the idea of electing a committee for their advocacy.
As for the fight against HIV/AIDS, Higa Ubeho project focuses mainly on people living with HIV and AIDS.
Sida kubera ko ari ikibazo cyugarije abaturage b'Abanyarwanda.
As HIV/AIDS is a scourge that has destabilized the Rwandan society, we try to assist the affected families and their children of primary and secondary school.
N'imiryango yabo kubera ko bafite ibibazo by'imirire tukabatoza guhinga.
To help them improve their nutrition, we encourage them to have vegetable gardens. Through this, they may get a balanced diet and subsequently increase their CD4.
Hanyuma bagashobora kubona abasirikari benshi bityo ubuzima bugakomeza. Tubatoza kugira.
In addition, we teach them how to create small income generating projects. This allows them to get money for buying food products complementary to the vegetables.
Bityo nibyo batabonye mu mboga bazashobora kubyigurira ku masoko.
There are poor people infected with HIV/AIDS. We pay school fees and school materials for them.
Duhamic Projet is particularly concerned with its agents infected with HIV. It takes care of them efficiently.
Hari ibiganiro mbwirwaruhame bikunda kuba ariko
we generally organize public debates on that topic. There is also a program to help them create small income generating projects. And as Duhamic Projet produces Sosoma Mix, which is highly nutritional, this is given to them for free to boost their diet.
To avoid stigma against its agents living with HIV/AIDS, a confidential person has been designated to whom these people will address their grievances for adequate solutions. This is the Executive Secretary of Duhamic Projet.
The Executive Secretary gives advice to them on anything that could allow the employee to develop. We chose Duhamic Projet's Executive Secretary, Mr. Benineza, because he is a man of integrity suitable for that. Any employee faced with this problem feels free to tell him his grievances and in turn gets a right answer.
I was chosen by the employees to receive their grievances. As the head of Duhamic Projet, I understand their problems very well. For instance, I organize their annual leaves considering their physical strength. I must also allow them time to see the doctor when necessary. When distributing assignments, I take into special consideration these employees, bearing in mind their limited physical ability.
The districts and sectors in which Duhamic Projet operates are the main partners of Duhamic Projet as it is through these ones that Duhamic Projet determines who to assist. Both parties are happy about this very good collaboration.
Duhamic Projet supports government's efforts according to the 4 pillars of its program. This support is praiseworthy because it directly targets the well-being of the farmer. We do everything in collaboration with the grassroots administration elected by the population for rural development, because we too have the same objective. We employ destitute individuals who are proposed to us by these local authorities. They help in the implementation of our projects. We work closely with the grassroots administration. We normally jointly discuss our projects before they start. We also submit to them reports on our activity. Our collaboration is very good, especially at district and sector levels. We appeal them to keep up that spirit.
A special message has been given to the villagers who are indeed the beneficiaries of Duhamic Projet's projects.
My message to the beneficiaries of Duhamic Projet's projects is that they should protect what they got. I would also recommend them to train their neighbors who didn't acquire all those skills, individuals and cooperatives.
Duhamic Projet's agents at all levels, especially those working directly with the beneficiaries, form a concrete pillar for the institution.
We are grateful to all the employees and the members of Duhamic Projet who are actually the base of this institution. I recommend the workers to keep up the devotion and love they have for their work. They are really professional and men and women of integrity. Keep that spirit. Duhamic Projet members are very important because they form the supreme body of this organization.
Duhamic Projet is very grateful to all development partners who supported it in its endeavor of pulling the villagers out of poverty.
We are very thankful to our development partners, Oxfam Novib, Frères des Hommes, CHF USAID, Global Fund, Trocare Rwanda, Protos, ILEX, European Union, the umbrella of local civil society organizations, SOSAIBE, and PAGOR. Thank you for having supported us. We still need your support for rural development.
Duhamic Projet is highly grateful to its partners, the beneficiaries of all the projects, and all those who supported its activities in all aspects. Many, many thanks to its agents who did all they could for its success.